Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another episode of Manifesting Muslimah. I'm your host, Zara Pedersen. And in today's episode, I'm going to share with you 4 things that could be a sign that your manifestation is on its way. And these are 4 things that we quite often feel like are a setback. Like it can feel like Allah is saying no to you when these things are happening, when in reality, it's literally Allah confirming it is coming, but these things need to be rearranged or restructured, or I need you to surrender more here, or whatever it might be, okay? So these 4 are very common, and as I said, can often feel like it's a no from Allah. And this is why I want to make sure that you are aware of these 4 things, because a lot of people, when they're not aware of it, start giving up. They're just like, oh, well, then I started working towards it, but then this happened. So clearly God is saying no. And it's like, that's not necessarily what that means, okay? So that's why I want to share these 4 with you today, so that when it happens to you, which chances are high that it will, if you are asking for something from Allah, and you're trying to manifest it into your life, that you will know and you will have this awareness so that you don't panic, because it can literally be Allah just saying, we just need to rearrange some things. I'm just aligning you. I just need you to surrender more here. And then like one step away from it literally becoming a reality for you. So, okay, I got my notes here. So let's get started straight into it. The first thing, sudden endings. Sudden endings, like out of nowhere, maybe you lose your job. Out of nowhere, an old friend of yours now just doesn't want to hang out anymore, or something happens and they have to move a country, or like to a different country. So you're like, oh, I can't really be around that person the way that I used to. Maybe you have to move all of a sudden, like you're renting a place and the landlord is like, you know what? I've had financial issues. I need to sell this place. I need you to leave. You can, I don't know, a number of things, lose your job, whatever. I don't even know if I've said that already, but sudden endings. You did not see this coming, and it feels very sudden. It feels very sort of out of nowhere, and it feels surprising to you. And it can feel like quite shocking in that moment, right? And you're just like, why? What is happening? Like I'm asking and working towards better things, and in return, it feels like I'm getting rubbish. Like it feels like I'm losing rather than gaining. And this is not a sign that Allah is saying no. This is alignment. This is alignment. This is Allah saying, okay, I hear you. I hear your prayer. But in order for me to give you that thing, I just need to align you. I need to make sure you're at the right place at the right time. Allah works in mysterious ways. We think we know how things are supposed to happen, but in reality, we don't. Allah is, the master orchestrator of everything. So he's like, yeah, okay, I hear you. I want to give you that thing that you're asking me for, but in order for me to give it, I need to move some pieces around to make it happen. So you're going to have to trust it when I move those pieces. And sometimes it comes at the cost of, so to speak, a friendship, and a relationship, a house, a job, whatever, right? And it doesn't always feel nice having to let go of those things, because sometimes we feel like connected, like we feel like we're connected to those things. It feels like, oh, but my job is my identity. That's where all my friends are, or like it pays me really well, or, that's the thing that makes me make the money that I make now and gives me the financial stability or whatever, or that friendship is the only one that I felt comfortable in or secure in or whatever. This is the house, like I didn't have plans of moving. I don't know where else I should be going with my budget, blah, 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 blah. We have these attachments sometimes to these things that, yeah, in the dunya aspect, it might feel like they matter. But in terms of the prayer, the thing that we're asking Allah for means absolutely nothing. And in fact, is potentially hindering you, stopping you from getting to that next step, to the next elevation, to that next level where you want to go. And I know this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I know sometimes, because you're like, well, I'm asking for a husband and then I lose my job. Like, how does that, like, it doesn't even align. It's not even like in the same fear. How does me asking for a husband have anything to do with my job? It doesn't have to. And you don't have to understand how the two things are connected, but they are. If Allah is making it happen in that specific way, it's because they're connected. Perhaps it's through being unemployed for whatever period of time that you meet your husband. Maybe you meet him in your new job. Maybe you meet a friend or a sister or a friend of that person in the new employment that will lead you down the road to get married. It's a whole butterfly effect of things that Allah knows is happening that we have no understanding of. And that is where our tawakkul and having tawakkul really comes into play, because we have to, in these cases, when we start asking for things and these sudden endings around us start happening and we start feeling like we're losing a lot of things, this is where we need to take that step back and really lean in so heavily on our ability to have tawakkul and trust and have faith in Allah's plan above our own, and in His knowledge above what we think we know, which in reality is very little. Okay. So when these sudden endings are happening, don't see it as a sign that Allah is punishing you for asking for something. See it as Him putting the pieces together, putting them where they were meant to go in order for those things to happen. And stop resisting it. Let it happen. If Allah is trying to remove something from your life, trust that there's a reason why He's removing it. Even though that friendship meant the world to you and you're just but that's my girl, that's my homie, that's my ride or die, we're going to have a house together in Jannah or whatever. Trust that for whatever reason in this dunya, right here, right now, that relationship is not meant to go with you to that next chapter. That relationship could potentially stop you from meeting your future husband or get you that dream career or whatever else it is that you might be praying for. And not because they're bad people, but because they would take you on a different road that would lead you in a different position than the one that you're currently asking Allah for. And this is again why, while we might have a connection to it in that moment, what we're asking Allah for and how Allah delivers might mean that we have to let go of that connection, if sometimes momentarily, sometimes until the akhirah, we don't know, but we have to have faith and trust that Allah knows, and we lean on His knowledge above our own. Okay, the next one. Oh, this one is such a good one. Financial jump scares, especially when we're asking for more money, when we are asking Allah for financial abundance. But it could also be implied in the financial abundance if we're trying to save up for a new home, for a car, if we want to get married and we want to have a big wedding in the homelands or whatever, if we want to buy a new did I say that, or buy a new home? Maybe I did that. Am I repeating myself today a lot? Maybe I am. You know what it is. Perhaps because I need you to fully understand what I'm saying, so I'm going to repeat it so you get it. I'm joking. Whatever it might be. Maybe you're I want to travel, and then all of a sudden, whatever the goal is here, but especially when it focuses around money, you get an unexpected bill, a tax bill. Maybe you get a fine, a speeding fine if you're a driver. Maybe there's an old bill that you forgot all about, and now they send you the reminder, and there's what are they called, the things on top of it when they add fees. Oh, there's a word for it and I forgot it. You know exactly what I mean when they're punishing you for not paying it on time. So what initially was a small payment is now a medium-sized payment, and you're now where is this coming from? Why do I have to pay this? So these financial jump scares, maybe it's a health thing for yourself, for somebody else. Maybe all of a sudden you feel you have a cavity in your tooth and you have to go to the dentist, and the dentist is expensive, and you're I don't want to have to pay that. I'm trying to save up money for the new home, for the new car, for a holiday, right? This is okay. This is again another sign potentially from Allah. And the reason why, by the way, I know I totally interrupted myself. I forgive myself and I will move on from it and I'll get back to my point. But the reason why I'm saying potentially is because I, for obvious reasons, can't speak on behalf of Allah, astaghfirullah. So I will say, just like in true crime podcasts, they'll say allegedly, I will say potentially or perhaps, right? Because I can't say anything for certain about Allah's plan, only Allah can. So, take take that with a pinch of salt. When I say potentially, don't take away from it. It is just, it's not to minimize it. It's just to say that I can't speak on behalf of Allah. Astaghfirullah. Okay, so getting back to my point, when we're asking for money and we get these potential jump scares, or like financial jump scares, that could potentially be Allah saying to you, okay, I now need you to make money the least important thing in your life. I need you to surrender fully to even the potential of never having any money and still being good and grateful for what you have. That is a very, very common thing to happen, especially when we're asking for something that is directly correlating to money or having money or acquiring more money, is that Allah will make it a point first to make sure that you do not become the slave of money, that you do not put money before you put everything else, that you still have a sense of humility and a sense of understanding and a sense of surrendering that, hey, it's just money. I know that can sound really hard, even me just saying it, because I've had issues with money in the past of my mentality around money. Alhamdulillah, I feel like I've gotten past that. But I know that it can be very triggering to hear when you're but I'm struggling with money now. How can I be okay with potentially having less or whatever? And the truth is, because Allah knows how and when the money is going to come. And the more you hold on to it, with the tight fist, I will never let go of this money. And even if there's a bill that's going to come, I'm not going to pay it. I'm going to wait because I'm going to prioritize my holiday or whatever. Allah is trying to say, relax, trust, and just pay the things, do the things, spend the money, give to charity, do with the money. Don't be, there's a word that he's using. I can't really say it because I don't know how stingy. I'm going to use stingy. There's another word in the Quran, a translation that I have, and it's not a really pretty word. So I have to think of another word. But stingy. Don't be stingy with your money. And sometimes when we want to acquire more money, what actually tends to happen is we become a little bit stingy. We become a little bit more tight-fisted with our money. We're I can't let it go. I can't pay the bills. Sometimes it's a question of learning how to budget. So Allah is I want to give it to you, but I want you to know how to manage your money. So that could be make sure you pay your tax bill, because otherwise that's going to hit you on the other end, because this is just the law of the land that you're living in. Or it could be pay your bills on time. Make sure that you're paying everything on time and trust that I will always send you more. Don't feel like you can't pay your zakat or give in charity, because, if we become I don't have any money, I can't possibly give anything in zakat. Again, we become very tight-fisted around our money. And then it's stopping us from potentially allowing the energy of money just to flow in the vicinity around us, within us, to other people, in our company, in our personal finances. And instead we hold on to it, and then it kind of just gets stagnant. I know that you've probably heard other law of attraction coaches, or other coaches in general, talk about the flow of money, that money flows constantly. That's very much the truth when they talk about money, because especially nowadays we don't have physical money as much anymore as we do digital. None of us most of the time see the money that we have. Half the time, I don't see my money. I see a number on the screen, but I trust that it has value, and I give it value, and so I determine that value for it, and I disperse of it how I disperse of it, right? But we don't even see it. So there's a very energetic flow around money for many of us that doesn't involve the physical carrying of cash. But even if it were, it's still the same. Money has to flow. You can't keep it stagnant in one place. In fact, keeping it in one place costs you money. Once upon a time, it meant you could earn interest on the money at the bank, but now the banks are charging you a fortune to keep your money with them, right? So you can't even earn interest if they just stay somewhere. You have to invest it, or you have to do good with it, or invest it in people, or whatever, your community, and then you see the return of that investment. But the financial jump scares are very important, especially when it comes to asking Allah for more financial abundance, because Allah wants to make sure you're also in the right mindset to receive money, to the point where you do not let the money dictate you, your life, your deen, how you live your life, anything like that. But that money is just it comes and goes. It comes and goes, and I trust that whatever I need, Allah will always provide for me. Even if I don't know how that money is going to come, it'll come one way or another. One thing that I have said to all of the members in my membership group, which, by the way, if you haven't signed up for my membership, my darling, join us. It's so much fun over there. Anyway, I keep saying to the girls over there who have who have dreams of wanting to earn more money, is money is easy. Money is the easiest thing in the world. It is so easy to make money. People are selling farts in a jar and becoming millionaires. People are uploading dancing videos on TikTok and becoming millionaires. Like, it's actually, when you sit down and you think about how people earn money today, it is actually ridiculous. And so money is easy. Money is very easy. We're the ones who complicate it, and we complicate it when we don't trust that it'll come to us, when we don't trust that Allah will provide it. That doesn't mean that we go out and we just behave in a what's the word I'm looking for? Immature, no, not immature. Irresponsible, thank you. I don't know who I'm thanking, but one of you probably shouted it at me through your headphones, so I heard you, thank you. Irresponsible manner. It's about understanding that money is easy to make. It is how you acquire it and your intention with it and your understanding of money that makes a difference in money. And Allah will want to show you that before He gives you that abundance in money, so He can make sure that it doesn't lead you astray. So financial jump scares, while they feel scary in that moment, we're like, oh, where did that bill come from? Oh my God, I'm going to be poor next month if I pay this bill, blah, blah, blah. Pay the bill. Say, Alhamdulillah, at least I had the money to pay it. If you don't have the money to pay it, then Alhamdulillah, I can set up a budget, I can plan around it, and I can get that paid off, whatever the situation may call for. But that could be a sign that Allah's like, I heard you, I want to give it to you. But in order for me to give it to you, let's just learn this lesson real quickly, and then you'll see that abundance that you're asking me for. All right, number 3, failed communications. You're finding yourself being perhaps that you feel like you're trying to communicate something to people, but they're not getting you. They don't understand, or you're trying to call someone, but you can never get through to them, or you're sending a message, but for whatever reason it didn't send to the person in time, so they didn't read the message in time for something to happen. It can be a very frustrating thing around failed communications. I'm actually going to give you an example from my own life that really highlights this for me. And this, again, failed communications is about alignment. Allah is moving the pieces around. So sometimes He has to block certain communications because He needs to make sure that a specific road is not available to you in order for you to get to your destination. Okay? So that is Allah, again, aligning and rearranging things to make sure you get to where you're supposed to go. Okay? When I got divorced, so this is a few years ago now, maybe 3 years, 4 years, I can't even remember, time flies, who knows. It's also irrelevant, but I was looking for a job. I was thinking I was going to buy a house in Denmark. Now I live in Sicily, so clearly things changed. But I was looking at buying a home in Denmark, and I was very much like in the market looking for it. And at the same time, I was looking for a different job. I was like, I just need, just give me some job. I just need something to do, get me out of the house and give me some type of routine, because I was massively depressed. And I was like, I just need something that gives me a reason to get out every day, because it was very difficult for me at the time to do my coaching, because I was, mentally just not in a position to take on other people's emotions as well as handling my own. So I was like, I need to get another job while I'm doing this. Here's the thing. I actually met with someone. I got like a job interview, and we gelled. We were having a good time, good conversation. She was like, yeah, I really like you, Zara. Like, I don't understand why you're, because I was kind of applying. I'm just going to say this. I was applying for like really low-level jobs. Like, I was just like, I'm not trying to make a career here. I just need something to get me out of the house. And so she was looking at me. She was looking at my resume. She was like, why are you applying for this job? Like, you shouldn't be out there applying for something else. And I was like, listen, I need something where I don't have to think. I just need something to get me out of the house. And she was like, yeah, you're more than qualified. We'd love to have you, but I'm going to send you an email. And I'm going to confirm, and I'll give you a call or whatever. I can't remember exactly what she said. But basically, I was like, okay, the job is mine. And I went back to my parents. I was like, I think I got the job today. And they were excited. And I was like, just waiting for the email to come through, waiting for the phone call, the message from this woman. And it never came. And I think I waited like a good month at this point. This was probably around November of this specific year that I got this job. And December comes, and I still hadn't heard from her. And I was like, okay, so clearly they went in a different direction. Maybe she just kind of was telling me she wanted to give me the job, but it didn't happen, whatever. And in that time, I had then decided, you know what, I'm going to move. Like, I'm not even going to stay in Denmark. I'm going to travel. I'm going to go to the south of Spain. I'm going to spend a year just on healing, because like that's what I feel like I need. What's interesting is about a week before I leave, get in the car and drive down to the south of Spain, which I ended up doing, I get an email. I get an email from this woman who says, you know, hi, like I'm trying to get in touch with you. I don't know if you received any of my emails, but like I'm just sending you one more email just in case, we'd still love to have you. And I was like, what are you talking about? I haven't received anything from you. Well, long story short, she had tried to call me. She had tried to email me, and none of those communications came through. Because why? Allah was blocking it. That wasn't my path. That wasn't my path. So her communications would never receive me, or I would never receive them, excuse me, because I wasn't meant to receive them. I was meant to go to Spain. And while I, in that moment, was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of just fumbling. Clearly, when I got the intuitive calling to travel to the south of Spain, I felt like, yes, that feels like the right thing to do. Whereas when I was looking for the job and stuff, it was like, I guess that's just what I have to do. Like, I don't know, I guess I could. It wasn't like that's what I'm going to do. Whereas with the Spain thing, it was like, yeah, that is absolutely what I need. That is what my soul craves. It feels so right for me. And Allah was like, wait a minute. I need you just to take a breath. Stop. Hold on for a minute. I think you're potentially going down a route that maybe you shouldn't be going down, because there's something else coming. There's something else coming, and it'll be even better for you. And so the failed communications, not everybody experiences this, but when you experience it, in the moment, it might be really frustrating. Again, like you're sitting there and you're waiting for somebody to communicate with you, to call you. Maybe it's, again, like you're dating, you want to meet a partner, and you're waiting for them to call you, and their calls are never coming through because they're not the right person. And in the moment, as frustrating as it can feel, again, we have to lean on that tawakkul and that trust that if it's meant to happen, it'll come. And if Allah is trying to redirect, then let's not hold ourselves back by holding on to something that Allah is currently trying to move us away from. So that is just an example of failed communications. It could also be in person, that you're trying to say something to someone, but the words are not coming out the way that you want them to, or that they keep misunderstanding you or something. Perhaps because you're not meant to hear each other. They're not meant to get it. They're not meant to hear you, because they're not meant to go with you on that next part of your journey. You're meant to do it without them. So the miscommunications, the misunderstandings have to happen in order for that divide to occur, so you don't lean on them and they don't lean on you, but you potentially part ways and you can do what you're meant to do in that moment. Okay? All right, number 4, and the last one we're going to discuss today. There are other signs. Let me know if you want to hear more signs as well. Then we can definitely do a part 2 of this, inshallah. The past resurfaces. This is such a good one. Because this one, I feel like, happens to quite a lot of people. And that is that they say, I've decided it's going to happen. I've made the dua, I've aligned myself. And you feel like, I've got this, like I've got the momentum, I'm going, it's happening now. And then something from your past shows up. Maybe it's like an ex-boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend, an old job, employer, something suddenly comes out of nowhere. An old friendship that you thought was sort of like, that was long ago, kind of resurfaces, and you're like, what's going on here? This does not necessarily mean that you have to re-engage in your past. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go back to those relationships, back to those jobs, back to those whatever it might have been. This could be a way for you to create a sense of closure and being firm on your new stance, the new you, the new version of you who's getting to the next level. And this is a way that Allah can kind of introduce to us to test our ability to stay true to that next level that we're asking him for. And one way he does that is by introducing something from our past that has made us question it before. So it could be a friendship that made us question our worth in marriage, or our worth financially, or whatever. And so he'll introduce that person into your life again to be like, are you sure you can, you're ready for this? I need you to make sure you're fully stepping up, so that when that person is reintroduced into your life, you don't just revert back into your old ways. So it's kind of like a test quite often from Allah to say, like, are you sure? Like, are you really going to stand true to this? I'm going to send you a test here, and I'm going to see if you revert back to your old ways, or if you're going to stand true and set the boundaries and follow through, even though, I'm going to introduce a situation that potentially bred within you in the past a reason not to do it or not to go ahead with it or not follow through. And that is a very, very oh my goodness, that scared me. There's a door literally right here. And someone just ran past and it really scared me because they like made a sound at the same time. I'm so sorry. So when Allah sends these people from the past, don't look at it as if Allah is necessarily saying, go back to what you left before. It is literally sometimes a question of, we're going to close that chapter. I've dealt with that. I've done that now. I don't need to go back to it. I'm now another person. I'm now elevated to a next level of my spirituality, my wealth, my worth, my whatever it might be, and stay true to it. And see it more as like that test, like dangling, like you say, oh, I'm going to go on a diet, and then somebody comes and dangles like a donut in your face, and you're just like, okay, one more bite, right? Instead, it's like, no, thank you. I'm good. I've made my decision. I've made up my mind. I'm going to go down this path. And that is why the past sometimes resurfaces when we feel like, yes, I'm now made a decision. I've made the prayer. I've aligned myself. I'm doing the things. I'm ready for the manifestation. And then all of a sudden your past just kind of creeps in on you. And you're just like, why is this coming on? Like, I'm not asking for my past. I'm asking for my future. Okay, so there you have it. 4 things that can happen as a sign that your manifestation is on its way, that Allah has said yes, but I just need you to go through these things first. Let me just test you. Let me make sure that everything is aligned and all of these things. Number 1, sudden endings. Don't resist it. It might be hard in that moment, but trust that Allah knows best. Number 2, financial jump scares. That sudden bill, that sudden thing that you have to pay for. Maybe you get into a small car accident and it's got to pay for somebody else's damages or repairs or whatever. Totally fine. Trust and believe that Allah will always send more, and pay it with that in mind. Failed communications. Either people keep misunderstanding you, you're trying to explain to them what you're trying to do, but they don't get it. It's totally fine. Maybe you're waiting for a specific communication from someone, but it doesn't arrive. That's okay. Potentially Allah is blocking it so you don't get it because He needs you to get to another, He needs you to understand that there's another way for you. And lastly, the past resurfaces into your life. It is not an invitation necessarily to go back in time and live a life that you've already lived before that didn't bring you that joy that you're asking for. It could be a way to bring closure into your life that you've been asking for in order for you to move on to that next level. All right, my darling, those are the 4 things. I hope that there was benefit in what I was able to share with you in today's episode. Please let me know. As usual, you can message me over on Instagram at Manifesting Muslima. I love to hear from you ladies. It's always such a pleasure, and always just to hear, where you're listening to these episodes and where you are in the world. Like, that is like perhaps, the most interesting thing is like when you're saying where you're listening from, like what country. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I actually reached that part of the world. It's really like, it's just so fun. It's so interesting to me. So please don't ever stop doing that. It really makes my heart absolutely smile, and so grateful for each and every single one of you. What a perfect timing to end this podcast, because it sounds like they're about to drill next door now. So with that in mind, I will see you inshallah in next week's episode. But until then, my darling friend, please don't forget to live in love.